The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
There's only one blood, cause it ain't no sense in us trampling on the stones. It's us, down to the bone. Blood is thick, waters were known well, cousins were kept apart, mothers were often memories. Fathers were not favorites on the farm, for he could do some harm, he could wreck the master scheme, for he, brothers could dream. Your mama ain't no saint, your daddy died in a shallow stream, but your uncle Dr. King did have a dream, my brother. And what
Homeboy by Sunchi Ali. Welcome to the Qumran Report. May the peace and blessings of the life-giving creative spirit be upon you and upon your family. My name is Melvin Ishmael Johnson, coming at you live from Morris Media Studio. Our call-in number is 1-323-293-3375. Now, this week on the Qumran Report, we will have a conversation with veteran film and stage actor David McKnight. David McKnight, a talented, seasoned veteran actor born in Shelby, Mississippi, and he began his love for acting at his beloved Wendell Phillips High School in Chicago, Illinois. He's now in the Hall of Fame at that high school. David, welcome to the Qumran Report.
Hey, thank you very much, Mel. It's glad to be here, and thank you for having me again. I did your show before, and it was wonderful, and thank you for being a friend. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. So let's start right off, David. How long have you been making movies as an actor?
A very, very long time, my friend. I started out many years ago in Chicago, Illinois, based on a dream that I had. I needed a goal for my life. I needed a purpose for my life. And because I grew up very poor, practically homeless in Chicago. My mother had a third-grade grammar school education and like that. So I started delivering newspapers at 7.5 years old. And my customers would always ask me, "Little paper boy, what are you going to be when you grow up?" And that was kind of a strange question. 7.5 years old, I had no idea. So they kept asking me, so I prayed about it. And I asked my Creator, the good Lord above, to, increase my intelligence and let me know what it is they were talking about and what I need to do with my life. And God answered my prayer. When I went to high school, at Wendell Phillips High School, I took an elective class, which was a drama class, and didn't had any idea about what acting was all about. And I went to that class and started reading scripts, and we did a play. And I can't remember the name of that play, but when I got on the stage, a bolt of lightning went through me, and I said, wow, it was so magnificent, until I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So I've been struggling at that and doing that since high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's Wendell Phillips High School.
Wendell Phillips High School, Chicago, Illinois, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how did you get started in the business? When did it become a business to you? You realized that you was going to make this your life work. What was the starting point? Well,
when it struck me in my heart that I really loved it and wanted to do it, there was very little opportunity for black people in the film and television industry. Mm-hmm. So I had to wait a few years, and then things started to pick up a little bit, and I said, okay, I'm going full steam ahead. I'm going to, approach it as a career, mm-hmm. And so what I did was I started studying. I joined a workshop, and I started reading and studying and practicing and so forth. And I got involved in an organization in Chicago called the Kuumba Players, Kuumba, with Val Gray Ward, who formed that organization. And it was magnificent. And the meaning of that African word was to clean up and create. Mm-hmm. And I like that meaning: no drugs, no alcohol, nothing, no kinds of stimulants getting in the way of your creativity and imagination. Mm-hmm. And I love that. And I started studying hard and working, and I started doing commercials, poetry albums, stage plays, and all like that. And then I wound up teaching with one of my mentors, which was Harold Okoro Johnson, mm-hmm. who was one of my mentors in Chicago. And I began teaching with him and just going on and keeping my nose to the grindstone, understanding that you need to work hard and study and practice and practice and practice. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been doing before I moved to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about that in a little while. Look, I want to play a clip that a little short clip talking about the business of show business. And then we'll come back and discuss that in a minute.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think your question is, what is my opinion that upstart actors, struggling actors, so to speak, newcoming actors, what can they do to gain more employment in Hollywood? Is that what your question is?
Exactly.
Oh, exactly. Okay. I would say that to develop their professionalism, study as much as you can. Understand also that it's a business, and that's one of the most difficult sides of it is the business side of it. A lot of people have talent. A lot of people have talent and the ability to perform, the ability to do the job. But one of the things that they may fall short on is the business aspect of it, because it is a business, and there's so many things that you have to do on the business side in order to gain employment. So you have to seek out and understand what the business side is. Become familiar with your union, Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which has just joined SAG-AFTRA now, and also Actors Equity Association. Find out about these unions and how they, protect you and so forth. Find out about casting directors and agents and stuff like that. Find out what it is that they do, how you have to work with them, and how you have to be professional with them and so forth in order to sustain and maintain employment in the industry. That business side is very important once you get your talent straight.
Okay, Jamal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you talk about that, the business of show business? How important is that?
Extremely important, Melvin. Mm-hmm. The business is paramount. It's paramount in that, like I said before, you must have the talent. The talent must be there. Hone your craft, study, practice, develop your skills. And once you do that, you must focus on the business of the industry and what it means to take care of business within the industry. That is, how do you be responsible to your agent? How does your agent be responsible to you? What are the contracts that you have to sign with your agent? What are the contracts and the rules and regulations that you're involved with the Screen Actors Guild as a union member? And to understand all of those nuts and bolts involved in that, so it'll make you safe. Otherwise, you'll get confused because there's a lot of treachery in Hollywood. There's a lot of treachery in Hollywood. For example, like one of the agents that I had when I did one of my major movies stole money from me. Okay? So the way that I was able to get my money back was understanding, how that works. And I called the union, showed them all the paperwork, and they agreed to me. Say, yeah, he scammed you, took out too much money because I had to sign a power of attorney for him to, so that my checks come to him. He cashed my checks, and then he writes me his personal check. Okay, so then he took too much commission out of my money, and the Screen Actors Guild agreed with me. After I had approached him, he refused to, he said, no, you're wrong. I gave you the correct amount of money. No, you didn't. I've already went to the union, and the union agreed with me, and so then the union said, well, do you want us to fire him, kick him out, or what? I said, no, all I want you is to get my money. All I want is my money, And so you need to know all about that because, like I said, there's a lot of treachery in Hollywood. And
let me ask you one question. Can a actor, can they make it without an agent? That's almost impossible in the business, right?
Almost impossible, Mel. Yes.
Because of all of the unions and that the sophistication of the business.
Yeah. If you don't have an agent and if you're not a member of the union, then what's going to happen is that the producers of the projects that you're working on, generally speaking, they're going to exploit you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have no recourse on them. You could take them to court, small claims court and things like that. But if you're involved in the technical business of the industry, then you have the union to protect you. You have your agents to protect you based on the contracts and legal agreements that you're involved in.
Do you need an agent and a manager, or they can be the same?
Well, no. They generally speaking, they are not the same. Agents have a signatory agreement, a legal signatory contract with the unions if they're legitimate franchised agents. Now, you have some agents that are illegitimate, so to speak. They're not legally bound to the legal agreements with the union. And you have to be careful about agents who are non-franchised agents because they can scam you, in this way and that way, and you don't get the proper benefits that you should be getting if you with a non-franchised agent. Okay, your managers, you can have a manager. Managers and agents generally are not jointly connected. They're
so
separate.
Managers like handle a person's career.
Handle your career and also to assist you in trying to guide you to get the best work for you. And managers generally charge like 15 to up to maybe 25%. Agents are only allowed to charge by law 10% and no more than that.
Okay. Now, what's because I get this question so much from young talent and especially actors. How do they get an agent? What's the best approach in getting an agent?
Okay.
And then we'll take this phone call in a minute. Go ahead.
Very good. Through personal contacts with other actors that you with, you can go to the union and get a list of franchised agents from the union and make contact with them.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, who are we speaking with?
Hi, my name is Kima Ray.
Oh, Kimba, how you doing? This is Melvin here. We got David over here for David want to holler at you.
Yes, hello, Kima. KIMMAWREH, Kima Ray. Welcome. Good to be working with you.
Well, thank you, and the feeling is mutual.
Can you talk about the event? Can you give all of the basic information about this great event coming up?
Absolutely. As y'all know, my name is Qumran, and my partner, his name is Boniface Sosa. We are the executive producers of XL International Fashion Week New York. So we're going to kick off New York Fashion Week from August 31st to September the 3rd with a series of events in Manhattan. So we'll have a press conference and networking mixer on August 31st at the Royalton Rooftop. And then on September the 1st, we'll have an XL International Fashion Show with an award ceremony at the Manhattan Ballroom. September the 2nd, we're going to have the Hollywood Movie Industry Seminar and acting by David McKnight. And on September the 3rd, I'm sorry?
Oh, no, go ahead. I think we got a flyer that we're going to project for you. But continue. You were just talking about David McKnight.
Yes, he's going to be teaching a seminar on the Hollywood movie industry and the acting, how to break into the acting field. September the 3rd, we're going to have a New York pop-up shop. The producers of this event are KDE Disability Africa Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and Excel Global Media Group, an international media conglomerate. Our guest speaker is Honorable Rudolph Sherman Jr. He's Consul General of Liberia in New York. And obviously, our legendary Hollywood actor, David McKnight, who we have on the call, and Kim Odolami are going to be our co-hosts and moderators. This is a luxurious fashion week, but it's for a great cause. It's benefiting the KDE Disability Africa Foundation. And what we're doing is to improve the lives of people with disabilities in Africa and the U.S. So we are raising funds to set up this fashion training program in Liberia and Nigeria, and we'll also have a training class in the U.S. We're requesting designers, vendors, sponsors, and the guests to register and to purchase tickets online at excelinternationalfashionweek.com.
Sounds.
Thank you so much for having us on the call.
Okay, sounds great. Hold on a minute. I'm going to let David talk to you for a while.
Okay. Kima, I want to thank you and your organization for bringing me on as co-host of this fabulous XL International Fashion Week show in New York City. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be working with you all. It's my first time working with African brothers and sisters from Liberia, Ghana, and Nigeria. It's an honor and a pleasure to be involved in this organization. One of the things that I want to mention that we're going to be doing during the fashion show and also some of the other events, we're going to be distributing free of charge books by Tyra Banks, the fabulous model, show business personality, Tyra Banks, in her book called Model Land. I know her father, Don Banks, and he donated a large amount of books to me, and I donated them to the organization, your organization, to be distributed. So from what I understand, it would be the first 15 people to purchase tickets to all of the events will receive a free copy of Tyra Banks' Model Land book. And the book itself is 570 pages, and it's a wonderful book, and it'll be distributed free of charge. So hurry on out and get your tickets early so you can be one of the first 15 to receive a free copy of that book.
Yeah, we want to thank you, Dave, for your contribution into the Tyra Banks Dad, and for actually providing these books free, to people who will be very interested in the model and breaking into the entertainment industry. So we want to thank you for your donation and your support of this charitable work that we're doing.
Very good. Also, whoever attends my Hollywood media seminar on how to develop a successful acting career in Hollywood will also receive a free copy of Tyra Banks' book, Model Land. So don't forget to purchase your tickets for that. Come out, meet me, and we'll talk about the nuts and bolts of the film and television industry in Hollywood, and how to develop a successful career. And I want to ask you a question, Kima. How many models will actually be in the fashion show approximately?
We're expecting about 20 to 30 models. at this stage, we may have 30 models or even more, but we want to cap it at 30.
Very good.
And these models are coming from different, all over the country. They're flying in, some people coming from LA, from Florida, from Texas, people obviously in New York, New Jersey. I'm really excited. Connecticut, Tennessee. People are really enthusiastic, and the models are, we're just getting registrations and people from all walks of life. So we are all about blending cultures, people. We embrace people of all places, and we welcome all the models to register and be part of the show.
Very good. I've been looking at some of the printed material that you have on the fashion show, and these models are fabulous. They look so beautiful. I'm excited. I want to be able to meet some of these lovely models when I get to New York City. Let me ask you this question, Kima. Now, some of these models, are they from Liberia, Ghana, and Nigeria?
Yeah, we have people coming from all walks of life, different nationalities, African American, Caucasians. I mean, everybody. We
Very
are just
good.
a melting pot of the culture.
Excellent. I also want to say that, your organization, KDE, Disability Africa Foundation, and the Excel Global Media Group is a very wonderful organization, and you all are involved in so many different things in Houston, Texas. Based out of Houston, Texas, you have a travel magazine, you have a TV show, and a lot of other things that you're involved in, and I'm so proud of you all and just so happy to be working with you.
Well, thank you so much. We're also so proud to have you, so happy that you've taken your time to be part of this event. We run it's an international media company, headquartered here in Houston. We also have office in New York. We opened an office there, where all the activities that we're doing. We have offices, in Washington, D.C., in Maryland, Atlanta. We have our flagship office in Nigeria, and also in Liberia, Ghana, and other countries around the world. So, we basically are the partner to this event to make sure that, we get the publicity out there. And the goals, of this event is to showcase culture, is to promote fashions from around the world. And we utilize this vehicle, the media house, to, get the message out there, as well as, your partners on the radio station today. We want to thank you for giving us this platform, and
Very
also
good.
because we're raising funds, for the charity. This is exactly an excellent platform to do so.
Excellent. Now, one other question, Kima. Will you have any so-called handicap models involved in this show? I understand. I thought there were maybe 2 or 3 or 4 that's going to be involved in the show. Is that true?
Models with disabilities.
Disabilities, yes. A couple, 2 or 3 or 4.
We're casting for models with disabilities. So please come out, and we're sending the message out there to the community, because I know that's an area that we also work on, is disability inclusion in fashion. So let them know that they can also be part of this, and they should come out and feel free to be part of this event.
Yes,
so
and
we are reaching out to them.
Yeah, and we refer to them as handy-capable, not handicapped, but handy-capable individuals who are models and beautiful and attractive and so forth. Another question I have for you, Kima, is that my co-hostess is Dr. I forget her last name, but what is she a doctor of? And describe her a little bit for me, please, in our listening audience.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Kim Odulami. She has a PhD, and she's also a psychologist, and she does leadership. So she's a leadership strategist, with the organization. She's worked with many. She's into the education, and she's worked a lot in Africa. And she worked on the University of Africa to set up this university, and actually was a nonprofit to bring children and students from all over Africa to attend this university free of charge. So she's worked with numerous first ladies and world leaders to basically project Africa, project education. She's also a flight attendant, and she does a lot of nonprofit work in the community.
Very good. Looking forward to meeting her.
We're excited to have her be part of the group and, support the cause. And we want to thank her for her service as well.
Go ahead.
Okay, hey, Kim, can you give us all of the basic information one more time? You know, the dates and the contact information and how people can purchase tickets.
Sure. Our website is excelinternationalfashionweek.com. So once they go to that site, there's a ticket link right at the top of the menu, and that will take them to Eventbrite where they can purchase the tickets. The event is, like I said, it's like a 4-day event, and we're going to have the first day is the Meet the Press and Networking Mixer at the Royal Town Rooftop, a 4-star hotel in Manhattan. It's on Friday, August 31st, from 5:30 to 9 p.m. And that mixer there's no charge to enter, so that's a networking function and Meet the Press. Then on Saturday, September the 1st, that will have the Excel International Fashion Award Show. The award ceremony will be awarding numerous people in the industry for humanitarianism, philanthropy, for public service, for leadership. Those will be awarded at this event in addition to the International Fashion Show. That will be held at the Manhattan Ballroom from 4:30 to 8 p.m. And then the Sunday, September the 2nd, we'll have the Hollywood the workshop with David McKnight, where he'll be teaching, coaching the actors on basically how to break into the Hollywood industry, the film industry, and giving them tips and guidance. So that will be held on Sunday from 11 to 2 p.m. Then we have the final day for the Fashion Week is the pop-up shop, and that's where you get a chance to really buy stuff right off the runway. And that will be held on Monday, September 3rd, at Labor Day, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we encourage everybody to purchase tickets, excelinternationalfashionweek.com/tickets, and there you can go and you can register and sign up, and we look forward to seeing all of you there.
Okay, thank you, Kimber Ray. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having us.
Bye-bye. All right, that sounds like you guys going to have a great time up there in the Big Apple.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Let's before we get back into talking about the business, what exactly is professionalism in the business? Can you talk about what do that mean to you?
Good question. Mm-hmm. Professionalism. That means that you are basically responsible. You must understand the technical aspects of the business, the technical aspects involved in what you should be doing in order to do things properly. Number one, be prepared, be educated, be trained, be talented. And other things is like being on time, knowing how to be responsible and respectable to the people that you're involved with without creating any kind of problems or anything. Mm-hmm. And basically, being prepared is the number one factor. If you're doing a play, then you want to study your lines. You want to be prepared. You want to get there on time. You want to listen to your director. You want to listen to your producer. You want to cooperate with your director and producer in a very professional kind of way. Mm-hmm. And that is dealing with your agent, dealing with your manager, dealing with all the aspects of the entertainment industry. You want to approach it from a professional point of view, meaning, don't create any problems. Mm-hmm. Basically, mm-hmm. That's mm-hmm. what professionalism is, mm-hmm. preparation.
Let me ask you this. What is your approach, since you deal both in the stage and the film? Do you have a different approach in terms of learning your lines, in terms of how you approach for a shoot for a film, and how you prepare for a role on the stage?
Okay.
Do you approach it different?
Slightly different. Mm-hmm. They're very similar, but slightly different. In a stage play, first of all, you got to realize you're going to have maybe 10 to 15, 25% more lines, maybe 50% more words and lines that you have to memorize. and your characters are usually more intricately detailed than they are in a film script. Mm-hmm. So in preparation for the stage, you have to put in more time. And number one, understand who you are. Are you a quick study, or are you a slow study, a slow learner, or a quick learner? And if you're a slow learner, that simply means you got to put in more time. You got to start early and work harder and put in more time. If you're a fast learner, photographic memory, things like that, then it's less difficult in memorizing the lines. So what you need to do then is just concentrate on the character itself and the intricate aspects of that character. Start working on that more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, well, how about in terms of actor? In film they take a lot of takes. How do that affect an actor? You working on the scene, and you have to shoot the scene a number of times. Because I remember I saw that little clip that you sent. It was an early clip about the South African revolutionary. Remember that little clip?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think you was talking about the number of the shoots, the number of shots that they had with that particular scene.
Right.
How do that affect the actor? Is he allowed to improvise, or they want the same thing? They shooting for perfection within a shot?
Generally speaking, when you're doing a film or a stage production, you are responsible. Number one, responsible for stating the lines as they are written, giving respect to the writer, number one, and giving respect to the director and producer who gave you that role, gave you that script. That's number one. But there is a little leeway in there, depending upon who you're working with. Mm-hmm. Some directors, producers want you to stick to the lines verbatim. And then other directors and producers may say, okay, you can ad-lib, take it a little loose. And then some of them will allow you to improvise a great deal. But it depends on who you're working with. But your professional responsibility is to know the lines exactly as they are. And you can take a chance when you're performing to ad-lib on your own. And then if the director does not like it, they say, oh, no, listen, no, let's go back and do, the lines as they are written. But you as an artist, as a creative artist, does have the right to ad-lib a little bit. That is your creative right. You know what I mean? Because you're forming that character. You're developing that character. So you're trying to do the best you can and in whatever kind of improvisational way that you can without going overboard. You don't want to just go overboard. Unless if you're a gigantic A-list star and everybody, like Denzel Washington and Marlon Brando and all the great stars, they give you ultimate respect, I would imagine,
Yeah, we was talking a little earlier about two of the movies that you said they beginning to enhance and bring out on Blu-ray, and that was J.D.'s Revenge and The Five Heartbeats. Can you talk a little about those two movies?
Yes. Well, number one, I'll talk about, start off with J.D.'s Revenge. I did that one first. I did that film with Glenn Turman and Louis Gossett Jr., whom I'm very proud to be working with, some very talented actors. And we shot that movie in New Orleans, Louisiana, and directed and produced by Arthur Marks. And it was called a so-called black exploitation film that was being done back in the 70s and the 80s and so forth. But it turned out to be a very good film, a classic film. It was a cult film, underground kind of cult film in Detroit, Michigan. And then I heard through rumor that it was being played in some city in Africa for like 5 years straight in some small theater. That's all they played. I heard about that. And they're still rerunning it today. We get reruns on it today. Now, what happened recently with J.D.'s Revenge is that they reissued a Blu-ray DVD copy of J.D.'s Revenge, and they allowed us to do an interview. So I have an interview on there where I'm talking about the film and the things that were happening while I was shooting. I also interviewed Glenn Turman, and Arthur Marks has an interview on there, and also the writer. Can't remember the writer's name right now, but it's a brand new Blu-ray DVD copy with interviews, all the actors, and a lot of photo shots and so forth and so on from the film. Mm-hmm. And now 5 Heartbeats, which I'm very proud of. 5 Heartbeats has been placed in the classic movies of all times, in the archives of classic movies of all times, written by Robert Townsend, and I'm very honored to be a part of that movie. And Robert Townsend, since it's so well loved and appreciated, I've talked to people who've seen it over 300 times and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I'd like to throw this in. I met a young lady in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I was introduced in a club, and she came over to me and started crying and fell down on the floor. And I had to pick her up off the floor. I mean, that's how this movie has affected African American people in the black community. Now, Robert Townsend just made a new copy on the documentary of the making of the 5 Heartbeats, and it's going to be aired this month. I think it's the 23rd of August, and I'm very happy that it's coming out because I'm very proud to be in that film. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what are some of your other favorite movie roles that you have?
Yeah, well, you know, Melvin, what it is with me as an actor, what I get the greatest amount of pleasure in doing is creating characters that are far removed from who I actually am. You know, it's you as an actor, you can play characters that are very close to yourself, you know, and you can make a lot of money doing that. But the pleasure that I get as an actor is when I stretch my character, and I'm playing a character that's far removed from who I actually am. As a matter of fact, when I first started off in Chicago, in one of my early roles, I played a white racist. Yeah. On the stage in Chicago at the Afro Arts Theater. And I designed the character for myself, and I put on white paint makeup and the shirt and the straw hat and all like that. And I created a voice. And you say, and for black men only, you know, I created all. And I went on the stage as this white racist. And it was I was so effective in doing it until a guy came on the stage with me, came at me on the stage with a chain, and the security guard had to pull him off the stage because in the character, what I was doing was, you know, hating a lot of black people, and that I enjoyed doing that. You know, I like to stretch, you know, and do characters.
And you know, in theater arts, they always talk about blackface. They always talk about blackface, but they forget that 2 of your greatest, I would say, actors, even though they was black, I consider them to be the greatest actor that America produced and the one that Europe produced. And they did a lot of characters in whiteface, and a lot of people. Ira Aldridge.
Okay.
You know, when he did a lot of the, I think King Lear, he became famous for that. And then Charles Gibson over here, you know, with the Peking Players and then the Lafayette Players and Burt Williams and all that kind of stuff like that. And Eugene O'Neill considered him to be the greatest actor to ever perform in any of his plays. Charles Gibson, when he did the Emperor Jones in the 20s. Okay, let's talk about for a while. We talked about some of your plays. What do you think is the state of black theater here in Los Angeles?
Well, Melvin, that's a good question. I tell you, as far as I know, and I'm not in touch right now as much as I used to be. But what I'm seeing right now is that there's not a whole lot, you know, as far as I know. I mean, you're deeply involved in it, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see a lot of black African-American theater companies that are producing plays on the black experience. I don't see a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems almost the same as when I came to Los Angeles in the 70s and in the 80s. You know, it's not that much growth involved in it. And one of the reasons
Yeah, I was going to ask
for
you
that maybe is because the union, Actors Equity Association, changed the 99-seat equity rule, where years ago...
It's 55 seat now.
They changed it from 99 seats to 55 seats, and then they put in prerequisites that actors have to be paid more than they used to. They did have a 99-seat equity waiver plan where actors could come in and hone their craft in theaters that seat only 99 seats and not get paid, only just a little gas money stipend and so forth. And that was a change that came about not too long ago, and I think that affected the progress of black theater, because you gotta get that audience in there to make that money to pay for the theater, to pay for the lights, to pay for the actors and all of that. So it's become a little bit more difficult, I think. So as far as I know, I don't see an overwhelming amount of black theater in the Hollywood area
on a regular basis.
No.
Yeah. Now, what is happening? You know, I saw your work at with Jitney, with what's that brother, Charlie Washington,
Charlie Robinson.
Charlie Robinson.
Charlie Robinson.
Yeah,
he was a good friend of mine.
In Jitney, and that was the South Coast. You guys did it at the South
Coast Repertory Theater,
and then the Pasadena Playhouse, and all that kind of stuff like that. Do you think it has a lot to do with more opportunities opening up in the film for black actors and writers and producers, and also the impact of the internet that keep black theater from flourishing here? Or how about in Chicago or back in New York or Vegas?
One thing I can say, when you said, in reference to black theater, what I have noticed, though, is that there has been an improvement of black plays and black performances in white theater production companies. Now you see more black production in white theater companies, which is good. There's more opportunities for African Americans now in film, television, and stage than there has ever been in the history of this industry. But when you say black theater, what I was thinking of is being produced and housed by black people. I don't see much growth in that, but I see a kind of an overwhelming growth in black theater being produced at the Mark Taper Forum, a South Coast Repertory Theater, and a lot of the major production companies, Pasadena Playhouse. There's a growth. There's a growth for black production and black actors in that area.
Okay. So, David, I was going to ask you to do one of those monologues that you have prepared.
Oh, wow.
Man, we still got a little time. We may get another phone call coming in, but if not, because Kimber...
Yeah, we have Miss Christina Brown. Miss Christina Brown calling in shortly. I think she's supposed to call in at 11:30, right? How much time do we have?
Oh, we got time. Kimber covered a lot of information there, which was great.
Okay, good.
So what monologue?
What I would like to do is do Dr. Martin Luther King's speech that we did some time ago.
From the Birmingham jail?
Yeah, the Birmingham jail. And if I can find it here. I don't have it completely memorized, but let's see if I can find that here. Yeah, I got it. Oh, my goodness, what did I do with it?
Yeah, that's one of the most famous historical pieces.
The Birmingham jail letter.
Yeah, the letter from the when he was in the Birmingham jail.
Yeah. Let's see.
Which is a classic.
Let's see. I can find it. Go ahead, keep talking, Mel. Let me see if I can find this. Go ahead.
So, what do you think about, while we're talking about this, can you just quickly touch on your time in the military?
Okay, yeah. I was in the medical corps, attached to infantry, and I spent 3 years in the Army. I was stationed in Germany, in Mannheim, Germany, and it was a good experience. Had a lot of problems with racial issues, but I became a corporal. I got to the corporal rank, and I did learn a lot.
How did that help you in the business? You know, because usually in military, the discipline that a veteran learns in the military. Was that an advantage as opposed to a lot of people who weren't in the military? How did that help?
Well, I love the
life
discipline.
Experience.
I love the discipline of being in the military. That's just me personally. I like discipline. One of the things I learned is to police the area, pick up cigarette butts all around and keep everything clean, keep your bunk tight, keep your shoes shined and all of that. I love doing all of that, you know. So that aspect, I like being dressed in a certain way, you know, with responsibility. I'm the kind of person I don't want to wear my pants sagging up, you know, down below my buttocks or anything like that. I think that people need to present themselves, especially African American people, in a respectable way as best as possible.
Now, also, let me ask you this. How important is health and diet when a person is out here in the business, where there's a lot of stress? How important is eating the right way, exercising, and all of that?
Absolutely, Melvin. It is extremely important. Extremely important to keep your health and your diet in the right place. You know, because there's an awful lot of stress in the business, a lot of downtime, you know, and it can be, you know, very stressful. So you need to focus and concentrate on your health. You know, a lot of successful actors have become vegetarians. You know, like some of the famous ones I can't remember right now, but it's extremely important, Melvin, to concentrate and focus on your health.
Yeah, because I know back in the day, so many African Americans were caught up in eating that soul food.
Oh my goodness!
You know, the classic type soul.
Yeah, that's got to be careful.
Let's take another phone call. I think we got who we have on the line.
This is Rashad.
Rashad. Hey, salam alaikum, Aki. This is my brother Rashad. Yeah.
Hey, walaikum salam. You know, I wasn't able to get the live stream on you, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to get the live stream, but I wasn't able to get it.
Okay. You wanted to ask David a question, huh?
Yeah, I'd like to say, David, how you doing and everything, and I think JD was one of the better movies that I had seen back in the day. You know, it really kind of gave me some inspiration, you know, on certain things, you know.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I told him that you told me that you saw that at a drive-in in Greenville.
Yeah, I was at a drive-in theater in Greenville, me and a few of my friends, you know. Yeah. And we was kind of excited about it, you know. It was good. Him and Glenn Turman did an excellent job, you know. But I want to ask him, do you think any black actors are mostly stereotyped now? You know, a lot of them do, like the ones that they put up there that's supposed to be the lead cast now seem like they're just comedians mostly. You know, serious movies, they seem like they are not out there.
Well, you know, I would say that it's still difficult for blacks to get roles that, you know, that project us in a very positive and beneficial way. Yeah, there are stereotypical acting going on out there. I see it myself, and I'm not that comfortable with it, you know, because the opportunities are just not there, you know, for good positive roles. By the way, I'm one of the people who formed the NAACP Image Awards. And we formed the NAACP Image Awards in order to create more positive images for African American actors. I also formed the NAACP Theater Awards, along with several other people, Attorney Geraldine Green and a lot of other people, based on what you're talking about now, those, negative, stereotypical images that we don't appreciate. And there's still a lot of them out there, and we're, hoping that more black writers will come forward and create more positive roles for African American people.
So, Rashad, I was telling David how great a basketball player Archie Parnell was.
Oh, yeah, he was one of the best. He was one of the best that came through Coleman High. He had a jump shot that didn't miss.
Yeah, Melvin, you were telling me that. Now, that's my cousin, and I didn't grow up with him, but, I was born in Mississippi, in Shelby, Mississippi. He's in Greenville, but I never knew about his, excellent basketball background. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so...
Go ahead, Rashad. Good players around. He had some good players around him too, But he was one of the best that was on the floor at that time. He didn't hardly miss no shots.
Yeah. Sorry, he didn't pursue it.
Well, but then I think that's the year that they won the state championship. I believe that
it was. It was in 6-6.
6-6. And most of those guys got scholarships to Alcorn. They went up there. I think the whole starting five went up there. That's why Archie went, and a few of the others. Samuel Singh, he had a chance to play with the Bulls for a while. But you didn't have a lot of opportunities. It was a lot of talented around, more opportunities now than it was then.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. All right, Rochelle. Hey, man, so glad you called in, man.
Yeah, good talking with you.
All right. I hope to come up there and see you one time, David. Maybe we can go to lunch together with Ishmael.
Hey, that'd be great. Love to do that. Let's set that up at a later date.
All right, my brother. All right.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Oh, Melvin, do we have time to do this monologue before Christina Brown calls in?
Yeah. She couldn't get in. Let's do the monologue.
Okay, let's have some fun and do this Dr. King monologue. Before we do it, I want you to do the read in the introduction there for me.
The history notes?
Right here.
On April the 16th, 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King, while incarcerated in the Birmingham, Alabama jail, was criticized by the religious community for causing violence. He answered them in a classic letter that became known as a letter from the Birmingham jail. We will now present a portion of that letter read and performed by Mr. David McKnight.
I call upon the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King, whom I love dearly and appreciate. My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statements calling my present activities unwise and untimely. Seldom do I pause to answer criticism of my work and ideas. If I sought to answer all the criticisms that come across my desk, my secretaries would have little time for anything other than such correspondence in the course of the day, and I would have no time for constructive work. But since I feel that you are men of genuine goodwill and that your criticisms are sincerely set forth, I want to try to answer your statement in what I hope will be patient and reasonable terms. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. In any nonviolent campaign, there are 4 basic steps: collection of the facts to determine whether injustice exists, negotiation, self-purification, and direct action. We have gone through all these steps in Birmingham. There can be no gainsaying the fact that racial injustice engulfs this community. Birmingham is probably the most thoroughly segregated city in the United States. Its ugly record of brutality is widely known. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Never before have I written so long a letter. I'm afraid it is much too long to take your precious time. I can assure you that it would have been much shorter if I had been writing from a comfortable desk. But what else can one do when he is alone in a narrow jail cell, other than write long letters, think long thoughts, and pray long prayers? If I have said anything in this letter that overstates the truth and indicates an unreasonable impatience, I beg you to forgive me. If I have said anything that understates the truth and indicates my having a patience that allows me to settle for anything less than brotherhood, I beg God to forgive me. I hope this letter finds you strong in the faith, and I also hope that circumstances will soon make it possible for me to meet each of you, not as an integrationist or civil rights leader, but as a fellow clergyman and a Christian brother. Let us all hope that the dark clouds of racial injustice will soon pass away, and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities. And in some not-too-distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all their scintillating beauty. Yours for the cause of peace and brotherhood, Martin Luther King, Jr.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Oh, who do we have on the line?
You have Christina Brown on the phone.
Hey, Christina.
Hello, Christina.
Hey. It's good to be on the radio station and to all my Facebook friends. I know they're out there listening. And thank you, Melvin, for having us to come on.
Welcome to the Qumran Report.
Yeah, you're
welcome.
You.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Christina. I know you're connected with Miss Kima Ray and Mr. Boniface Iasota in their organization in Houston, Texas. So just let our listening audience know how you're involved in what you're doing in Houston, Texas.
Yes, I'm the audio-video manager for EXCEL International Fashion Week. And what I basically, I also have a reality show going for myself also. But I want everybody to know that this fashion show is going to be like no other fashion show, you know. And like she said, we're going to have this few of the disabled, not disabled like you said, not disabled, but this
handy-capable.
Yeah, handy-capable. And so it's going to be a lot going on, and I am so honored to be a part of this. And Melvin, we hope that you can come out and, you know, we got a ticket for you. Come on out and participate with us.
So what will you actually, I understand that you're going to be doing some filming of the project?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. And what's that all about?
Well, mainly we film everything that we do. You know, that's part of my job is to make sure that we cover everything.
Okay. All right.
Hey, thank you so much for calling in. I know it's going to be a great event. Looking forward to it. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very good. And I'll see you in New York City, Christina. See you there. We'll have a lot of fun.
Okay, well, thank you. Make sure y'all go out there and buy tickets. The tickets on sale right now.
All right, and make sure you get a free copy of Tyra Banks' book, Model Land, when you come in, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, David, we're down to some closing comments. We got a couple minutes. Why don't you take about a minute or so for some closing comments?
Okay, Melvin, I just want to say it's I'm very grateful to be on your show, you know, and I'm very grateful to have your friendship for, it's been, about 10 years now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I always appreciate what you've been doing, you know, working on behalf of a lot of actors who are struggling actors and helping them out and writing some excellent material for them, and also reaching out to the homeless in Los Angeles. I think you've been doing that quite well. Mm-hmm. And it's just an honor and a pleasure to be here working with you and all the time, and I hope we continue that in the future.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad because you reminded me that I got to make an announcement about an event coming up on the 21st. This month is known as Black August. And on the 21st, they're having a national-wide prison strike to bring attention to what's happening inside of the penal institution. So at the Vortex, Drama Stage Qumran Veterans Theater Workshop presents If the Shoe Fits, Voices from Solitary Confinement, Tuesday, August the 21st, 2018 at 7 o'clock p.m. That's at the Vortex, 2341 East Olympic Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90021. More information, 213-908-5032. This is a free event. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Melvin. And to our listening audience, don't forget Excel International Fashion Week in New York City. Buy your tickets early and get free copies of Tyra Banks' book, Model Land. I want to thank Don Banks, her father, for donating those books to me, and I want to thank Tyra Banks for allowing us to distribute these books free of charge to all our participants. Thank you so much.
A special thanks to my in-studio guest, actor David McKnight. Please listen to past shows of the Qumran Report by Googling in Qumran Report. Thank you for tuning in to the Qumran Report, and from your host, Melvin Ishmael Johnson. May the peace and blessings of the life-giving creative spirit be upon you and upon your family. I leave you with Homeboy by Sunchi Ali.
Homeboy. Brothers, there's only one blood, 'cause it ain't no sense in us traveling on